time to get on the beach, thanks guys. Deploy the ladder. How cool is that? An iguana is a conversation starter. Well, g'day guys. Not often I get to do that, to be honest. Walk off a beach, straight up a nice ladder onto the boat without even getting my feet wet. So if that's a little bit of an indication of the test drive we're going to be doing today, there's going to be a lot more to see. This is quite a unique and interesting boat. My name's Dan Jones, welcome to Dan's Boat Life, and today I'm on the Iguana Commuter. This boat is unique. This boat is bespoke, and this boat gives you options. So there's a little bit to talk about. This is the test drive video. We will be filming a walkthrough, a detailed walkthrough of this boat, and that's going to be separate to this one. So subscribe and find that in the channel description if you're interested in that. And this boat is specific. This video is specifically focused on the test drive. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to automatically retract my ladder, as you do on a boat like this. So I'm just using this touchscreen control panel, and everything can be operated from here. And because it's a touch screen, you hold your fingers down for a couple of seconds and then it operates the various items, so there's no accidentally turning things on and off. There we go, ladder done. And I'm basically going to be driving straight into the ocean, and I'm going to take you for a drive on the inshore part of the Broadwater where we are here up in the Gold Coast. And look, the weather is very changeable today. We've got rough seas, wind, rain showers coming and going non-stop. So you're going to experience what I experience. It's going to be a bit of fun. So come along with me and let's make this happen. But let's drive this boat off the beach. Okay, so first thing I've got to do is just press tracks. That activates the system itself. I'm going to hit fast because I want to drive off the beach in a fast manner, and away we go. And as I get into the water, I'm going to be deploying these Mercury outboards pretty soon, so I'll be trimming them down first. There we go, I'm going to start the trim, and then I'm going to be activating the motors and pretty much giving it some juice almost straight away. And don't be too gentle with that because we really are getting off the beach, so to speak. So that feels like we're rolling. There we go. And when feels like I'm floating now, I'm just going to exit this little wave zone, and this is a wave zone, so that's pretty unique. I've got to say, this is cool. You don't often get to do this on a boat. So now that I'm clearly out in the deeper water and I can see I've got 2 meters depth underneath me, and I'll just actually keep going a little bit more into 2.5. So we're clearly going to be free and approaching 3 meters. Now I'm going to retract. Okay. There we go. Now I'm retracting the tank tracks. These tracks, they operate with a lithium battery, so lithium operating hydraulics, and there is also an option to fit this essentially with a little generator running the hydraulic system. So that's another way to power this, or you can upgrade it with the lithium pack. So when you're driving up and down off the beach, it's nice and silent. But what else have I got here? It's I think with these iguanas, simplicity is cool. This boat, and I have just been for a drive, and I've been flying the drone, and I've been, we just ducked our head out to sea. It's quite rough, so there's no point going way out in the ocean today. But they're not trying to do everything, and they're not trying to impress everyone, and nor should you on a vessel like this. They're just trying to do a couple of jobs, in my observation, really, really well. Exceptionally well. So when you look at the finish, when you look at the design, if you're someone that appreciates design, you are going to appreciate this boat. The dash just here, I've just got two nice flat screens. One is my control panel for the boat itself, and the other one is my navigation. So that's just a regular Raymarine screen. But here I can go press on the mains just here as I am, and I can operate the tracks themselves. So you turn the tracks on and off by pressing tracks there, and then when they're on, you just go up and down. So it's pretty simple. The Mercury on and off is just this big blue button here, and then if you want to do engine gauges, you just press gauges. So that's pretty simple. Unlocking and locking the door is an electric push button just here. The ladder operation, the hard top, and the wipers are also operated from just here. And I'm just going to quickly do the hard top because this is super cool. I'm obviously in the seated position right now. I'm in this gorgeous suspension seat, which we'll experience in a sec. And I've got a couple of inches of headroom above me. I'm sure the seat's adjustable, so if you're a little bit taller and you wanted to set it up from a lower position, you could. But if you want some air, check this out. Hold your finger down on this. Check that out. And this can extend quite a way, and we'll show that in more detail on the walkthrough. But not only does that now let some fresh air in through if you wish, I've still got protection from the sun, but increases your head height. So that is a beautiful and simple solution to what can be a common problem on a lot of these cabin boats that don't have airflow, and it's just so stylish. I love it. I love it. So that's that. My steering wheel here, it's beautiful leather wrap steering wheel. I got some stainless steel inserts in the middle here. We've got the these are the tank track drive operation joysticks or levers, I suppose you would say. You can put a phone just here. That looks like it's going to sit quite comfortably. I've got my Mercury digital throttles just here. Everyone's going to be familiar with those. But what you won't be familiar with is this power buttons on off. So instead of having a battery key set up, on and off battery switches, I should say, you've just got this buttons just here. This activates power to the vessel. It will then ask you for a digital fob, and if you don't have that, you put in your passcode, and it will then open up the system for you to unlock the door or do other things on the boat. So that's quite clever, because if you're sending down a mechanic or an electrician, or let's face it, someone's going to dress the boat, prepare it for you to go out for the day, you can send people down and they can do that for you without you having to remember to leave the keys. Anyway, a bit of a quiet day out here on the Broadwater. I think it's time we get the boat going fast. I'm just going to let these guys, these parasailers, overtake me, and then I'm going to get the boat up on the plane. We're just going to drive a little bit moderately inshore first. We'll just feel the boat out. I haven't done too much driving. Before we do, there's another thing that I haven't spoken about, and it's really all about sort of customization and making you feel special. Well, that's how I feel on this boat, because you can set the seat position just to suit you. There's 3 settings, and so I sat on this seat. Steve, who's got longer legs than me, had it at a different setting. I just press the button and forward she comes. So you feel special, put it that way. Okay, no boats around me, flat water. I got my markers. I'm just going to get the boat up and moving. Now, engine options, we're running a twin Mercury 225s on this, but you've got many options. Let's face it, it's not, this boat, it is a super unique hull, and we're going to get into that. But whether you do Mercury or other engines or other horsepower, you know, that's up to you. And I think the really unique thing is how this boat is going to behave through the waves, and how it can, you know, give you those options for getting up on beaches and places like that that you wouldn't ordinarily even consider. So here we are, just rolling through 18, 19 knots. So I'm not really going to focus on what revs my engines are on, because I can see a lot of people getting different engine setups, and it's going to vary for what purpose you apply to the boat. But I'm just cruising there at 25 knots very happily. A little bit of engine trim, and you're absolutely going to operate this boat from a seated position. Now I'm just accelerating through 29, 30 knots. That feels pretty quick. It feels pretty quick, incredibly comfortable and smooth. Now, this is my end marker here, so I'm going to turn around when I get up here. I'll give it some wide open throttle. 32, 33, 34. So she's got some guts. I've got a few degrees of engine trim there. I feel comfortable on the suspension seat. I'm doing 36 knots now. And I feel like you could actually get a little bit more out of that, but I'm running out of clear water here, so I'm just going to have to slow that down, turn the boat around. So it digs into the turn nice and confidently. You lose a little bit of visibility on port side in a steep turn, but that's okay. Get through it nice and quick. Going through our wash. Had the engine trim a little bit too high there, so I did a bit of cavitation, fixed that up, and she feels good. This hull is a cutting bow hull. It's a carbon fibre construction, and it's about 4 tonnes in weight. So it's got a lot of ability to go places that you wouldn't ordinarily go on other vessels. So I think we just need to show you that. We're just going to drive it straight out of the Broadwater now, and through some quite rough and nasty waves, but I can see a little bit of a break in the rain. This is our opportunity, but I think I would be happy cruising. Just going to give a little bit of a trim there. I think I would be happy cruising at about 27 knots. That feels quite comfortable. And let's face it, you know, this boat is going to be very popular in the commuter function, going from point A to point B, because you don't have a landing barge or a landing boat like this without a beautiful destination to go to. So I'm imagining people setting up their picnics and going to an island. I'm imagining people getting off their super yacht and going to some wonderful tropical location. Those are the sort of people that are going to see value in a boat like this, and obviously it's the people who have choices in life. Like, yes, there are other amphibious boats, but this is quite clearly the Rolls Royce of the amphibious boats. That's how this boat is speaking to me. So, just about to pass Wave Break Island. We're going to get into the rough stuff in a second. I just have the engine trim up and down. We don't operate trim tabs on this boat. It's worth noting that the tank tracks don't provide any drag. So when we're at this speed, and hopefully you'll be able to see that in the drone shots that I've taken, they're out of the water sufficiently to not provide any negative effects on the performance. So you really can just get on with it. So here we go, entering a little bit of moderate swell now. We're going to be getting into the rough stuff soon, so I will slow the boat down, and I'm not going to go belting it through, and I'm just going to poke my nose out, turn around, and then run fast down whatever waves we find ourselves, so you can see what this thing's capable of. When you have a cutting, aggressive deep V bow like this, when you hit waves, it's going to slice sort of through the waves and then go up and over them. So rather than having a flared bow, which may want to induce a little bit of deceleration and then lift, this is going to reduce the lift and give you more cutting action. So I've legit got braking waves at the end of the bar today, so I'm not going to put ourselves at risk and get into the braking stuff. So I'm just going to suss this out and go a little bit slowly. I might just, Steve, if you want to come up here and sit in the seat so you're safe. You're good? Steve has decided to brave the conditions and sit downstairs. Okay, so yeah, we definitely have braking waves out there. I'm just going to stay to the right. We'll go sort of somewhat into the middle. We'll suss it out. Normally this bar, not normally, it does whatever it wants. It's been blowing southeast for quite a few days, and it consistent pressure, so we'll know about it. Here we go. A couple of little waves here. Alrighty, so if I go quiet, it just means I'm concentrating. And what we'll do, I think we're just going to go over a couple of these waves, turn around and run fast back in. So here's my opportunity after this one. When I did a hard turn there, but it is really rough water. But now we're up and moving, and I can feel this hull coming into effect. So look at this, almost like this is going to be a lot of fun. If you're out in the ocean riding waves like this, you could just pick your line and the boat's going to do it for you. I'm doing that at about 26, 27 knots. We'll come up the back of this one. There you go. Beautiful. So that's fun. Like, I was reluctant to push it through braking swell into it. That's why I didn't exit the bar there, because that would just be irresponsible. But what I just learned there by going through those waves and then down that swell is that this boat is going to definitely look after you in any normal offshore conditions. Like, you just feel comfortable. You know, you feel special in this boat. You feel secure in this seat, and then seeing the movement of the bow and feeling the softness of the ride, just coming off some of those waves there, you can understand the thing's capabilities. So let's just speed it up. Let's do another little run down here. Then I think I'm just going to do a few turns and just see how she feels in a turn. 33 knots there. So I think your cruising speeds, depending on engines you run the boat with, it's probably around about that 27 knot range. So let's bring the speed back. I think a slow cruise is about 27, and I think a fast cruise is going to be about 32 with a top speed. Let's just do another top speed run again. Woohoo! 36 seems to be our speed. Yeah, I just saw 36 and a half. Playing with the engine trim a little bit. Okay, I've flattened that out. With these engines, 36 knots is our speed, that's for sure. So roll it back. Get it back to below that 5,000 revs where you get the fuel burn to a bit more of a realistic range setting. There you go, just there. 27 knots. 27 knots is it. So that's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get down here. I'm going to do another turn. I'm going to do a wider turn this time. Dropping my engines. Beautiful. So if you were worried about losing visibility with the roof just there in a tight turn, you can just raise the roof. That's the option you have in this boat. Okay, let's do some turns. Okay, so while I'm doing that, I'm also looking back just to see what my guests are going to be experiencing. So it's worth noting that as I go through these waves, yes, it's wet back there right now because it's been raining, but there's no water coming into the back of the boat. So as I do this, I'm going to tighten these turns up a little bit more. So if you've got guests on board, look at that, there's no water. So they're going to be dry, they're going to be comfortable, they're going to be wind in the hair, having a good time. And you know, I think this boat, you know, its design purpose is to give you options. It's supposed to be bespoke. That's what they're going for. So you are creating an amazing experience to take your guests from A to B. From your beautiful house to your amazing island. From your awesome super yacht to the beach bar. That's what you achieve on this Iguana Commuter. They didn't call it Commuter for no reason. This is for people who can have the finer things in life, and I think from what I just experienced there, they've certainly achieved it. Like they absolutely have. You feel special, the boat drives well, you're comfortable, safe, secure, but most importantly, cool. My name's Dan Jones. It's been Dan's Boat Life. See you on the next one.